Please give this video a like and subscribe!
Masculinity influencers. So now it's anybody who has an opinion on fitness, finance, financial success, and relationship.
Yes.
That's
yes.
a pretty
Masculinity influencers, bad. But before you guys in the chat say, well, I know this guy. No, you don't understand. How do they define masculinity influencers? Is literally any person that's trying to help men in any way at all online.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that.
They're doing better in education than boys.
A Cambridge study finds that girls outperform boys at schools. And also, boys are underperforming in school because they're discriminated against by feminist teachers.
Every person who essentially works in education is probably operating under the presumption that girls are struggling because they're girls and they need extra help.
It's possible that the entire boom in innovation was a result of educated women raising children.
You see a tweet like this. I miss the old days when a wedding was the last time you see a woman in public. Why don't young women want to get married anymore?
It wasn't like women weren't in public in the 50s, the 60s, the 40s, the 20s. Actually, I'm pretty sure there were women in public in the 1150s. Judging from the Norse sagas. If manhood is something you earn, then manhood isn't a male privilege. It is an earned precarious status that can be lost. Boys and men face stricter rules and harsher sanctions for nonconformity than girls and women, especially around weakness. So men cannot be weak, but it's not good if they're strong in Western countries. That's our equality that we've created. Are you feeling the equality, guys?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame, Pearl versus Anna, play-by-play. Allison, you actually said, when you sent it to me, you didn't say Pearl. You said something different. It was like...
I did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you wrote something else. I had to go back when I realized that it was a misspelling. I had to go back and change everything again.
Wow, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Now I'm curious what I actually said.
You wrote, let me see. I'm going to find it. You sent it to me. Peach versus Anna. Yeah. Peach.
Yeah, I actually originally wrote Peach versus ABBA.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, it's fine.
Somewhere in the depths of my squirrely brain. Yeah. So we're going to go through the Ana Kasparian Pearl debate.
Yes.
As it were. And I use the term debate loosely. And we're going to go by play and determine, who won, which debater reigns supreme. And if you want to send us a comment because you violently disagree or you agree, or you think I'm a leftist because I've been getting those comments on my recent Comex video. So you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. It's the very best way for you to send us funds and send us a comment with those funds. And I still don't have the monthly fundraiser open, but when it is open, it'll be open at feedthebadger.com/support. So if you enjoy this content, make sure to help us out so we can continue to bring it to you. And yeah, that's you want to just jump into it?
Yeah, let's just jump into it. So yeah. All right.
Away from my cords.
So I have a few things here. I figured we could go through their best arguments, and then there's also points in the debate where Pearl is let's say she's kind of at a loss for words.
Yeah.
It could be because she's just flabbergasted at the at Anna's
at the audacity.
She's very aggressive, and so could be that. But okay, so we could do that. Let's see. I'm gonna look for my time codes here. So
I'm just gonna wait till I'm no longer under attack by Cat.
It's fine.
I did want to point out one thing from the previous video that we did on this, and I don't know if I made it really clear, but what Ana Kasparian does at the beginning of her section of the debate is she lists a whole bunch of ways that feminism has benefited a particular segment of women, which is fine if you want to say that feminism, that's the only people that feminism considers important to benefit or even bring into the equation of benefit. So the real question is, how can she then claim that feminism benefits anybody else?
Right.
And really what she should be bringing is evidence that feminism benefits somebody other
Than women.
well, not just women, but
Then a specific group of women,
a particular affluent group of women, a particular affluent group like herself.
Yeah.
In particular, an affluent group of women who identify as feminists. And if that really should be the challenge posed to Anna, is not, we know that feminism benefits affluent, mostly white, urban liberal women, females, right? We know we know that it benefits them. What we're arguing is, does it benefit or in fact harm anyone else? And are we allowed to actually look at the harms of anyone else? Are we allowed to actually consider them as important? And if the feminist framework only considers the harm and benefit to one very narrow segment of the population, even more narrow than women generally, if that's the only people it brings into its calculus of harm and benefit, is that a good thing? Or could that be seen as myopic and selfish? I mean, that's really that's where it is. And if Ana Kasparian, which no doubt she will, comes back with more evidence that feminism benefits this group of people that nobody argues, like no one's saying that feminism doesn't benefit mostly affluent, mostly white, liberal, urban women. Like nobody's arguing that. Nobody would argue that feminism fails to benefit. Then that's not the argument. The argument is that it benefits nobody else. So in order to actually argue that point, and I think that's the real point that Pearl is trying to bring up, Anna would have to actually demonstrate that feminism, well, I mean, maybe actually benefiting another group of people is a little bit rich, but even considers another group of people in its calculus. So, and not just intersectionality, which somehow is just reframing every single disadvantage that any human ever experienced is actually worse for white women, affluent liberal white women. So, I mean, yeah, I think that was something I probably should have brought up last time, and I didn't. So I apologize. I guess I should have done that. Anyway, did you figure out what you wanted to do, Brian?
Yeah, you were just sort of going. So
yeah, I was going. All right. So let's go.
So let's see. I think here.
100% of the time, it's shared custody, which I think is the ideal situation, assuming that neither spouse is abusive.
So you're talking about custody. Should we cover this or?
Custody, 40% of the time.
She believes that it should be shared custody. Well, it isn't. And there's only a few.
No. She thinks that most of the time it is, I think, or 40% of the time. Let me see.
Custody cases
that's wrong.
Mutually agreed upon outside of the courtroom. Women get full custody 40% of the time. Men do get full custody 20% of the time. And 40% of the time, it's shared custody, which I think is the ideal situation.
Where?
Assuming that neither spouse is abusive.
Yeah, but then shared custody is an aim that we should be aiming for. Fine. There's only a few states that enshrine that in law. There's only I know Kentucky does, and there's a few more coming on board, and they've seen great results from it. So why do feminist organizations consistently oppose shared parenting initiatives? Like, yes, this is a wonderful thing. That's great, Anna. You believe in shared parenting. Excellent. Okay, that's nice. What does that have to do with feminism?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is an interesting point, but it's basically Pearl is laying out what that feminism is an obstacle for these equalities, these these issues that men are facing. And Anna is saying, no, it's fine. Feminism's not to blame for this, or that's not a problem, actually, something like that. She's trying to downplay the severity of the issue by essentially giving these statistics that say, well, usually it works out just fine, or something like that, right? I did get a super chat right at the top of the show. I think I'll read it really quick before we get it further. Richard Bier gave us $5. Thank you, Richard, and says, from what I've seen so far with this debate, it does look like Anna is/was engaging in gotcha journalism with how she addresses the points that Pearl was bringing up. Yeah, Anna's thing is to sound like she's like more informed and more cool under pressure, and like, because like it's not like the only thing she has to do is defend the status quo. And so like to do that, you just have to like cite the statistics the status quo puts out there, and then you basically make the other person try to make them like flustered or frustrated or whatever. And I think that's like the only approach she has to do. Pearl's the one that's under the gun, because that's kind of like generally the position of someone that's pro men's issues, is they have to like basically completely alter the paradigm of the audience on seeing this in a different way. And the other person just has to maintain like the normal, status quo, like I said. So.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Richard, for that.
And Pearl, excuse me, before you respond, if you could take your microphone out and hold it, it would be easier to hear you.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Is there something wrong?
The air conditioner is turning on, and it makes it hard for me to hear.
Are not covered by that, so a lot of times it does go above 50%. Again.
Oh, this was child support. They were having a discussion on child support.
Yeah.
And again, really,
go ahead.
If the framework, and it honestly should be, like nobody's going to debate Ana Kasparian and say, oh yeah, feminism doesn't benefit affluent, liberal, affluent, mostly white, liberal urban females. Where nobody's going to argue that that class of women is not benefited by feminism, especially if they are indeed feminist. Nobody's going to argue that. The argument is, does feminism care about any other group of people on the planet? Right? Does feminism help any other group of people on the planet? Right? And of course, that is the argument. And talking about shared custody in this way, or child support in this way, is essentially Anna saying, no, we don't care about anybody but our very narrow subset of the population, right? That's all we care about. And that's what she keeps repeating over and over again. So, I mean, the problem is that she's losing the argument just by definition, because nobody's I don't think there's anybody in this audience who's going to argue that feminism doesn't benefit wealthy feminist women. I mean, is there anybody?
No, Allison.
Like, so what is she actually arguing?
Well, Pearl doesn't bring that up, so that's why it makes Anna looks good. So,
yeah, I know it does, because right from the bat, Pearl has accepted a framing that allows Anna to continue the argument and look good, while actually proving my point, my overall point, which is that she is presenting a feminism that doesn't care about anybody but a certain class of women, maybe women generally, and people of intersectional identities, as long as it comes back to women. All right. So there you go. That's what I just wanted to say. Continue, Brian. Hopefully you're
statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not conditioning.
Those are the stats.
There are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really? What is it?
9 times less.
Yeah, it's a ninth. It will be a ninth of that.
Comparative analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
What the
Go ahead, Pearl.
What's your next question?
Pearl, this is the comparison between men committing suicide and women committing suicide. Well, what's the number for what's the proportion of women committing suicide? I don't know if Pearl is like just flummoxed by Anna actually not understanding what a comparative analysis is to the point where it's presented right in front of her and she's like, "Where's the comparative analysis?" Right under your nose, Anna. Like I just said it. I don't know if Pearl is so flummoxed by that.
She might have missed it. I think she missed it. She just said it's lower, but yeah, it's like right there in the statement. But I mean, again, and Anna and Pearl and the audience it flew over everybody's head.
Yeah.
Have asserted that men shouldn't get married, that instead they should shack
I didn't say
up.
that.
You did say that with
did
Trent
not say
Horn,
that.
word for word. You said it makes more sense for them to shack up, live with a girlfriend instead of getting married.
Should
think the advice
is not the same as makes more sense.
What?
Should is not the same as makes more sense.
Yes.
Right? Because what should be happening is family formation. What's actually happening is a weaponized state that women can use against men. So what makes sense is a defensive position on the part of men. Like, should. Now we shall have a discussion of the meaning of the word should. Okay.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a manipulation going on there too. So, okay. We already saw this part, so I'm going to jump ahead. All right, 1846. Maybe like right here.
From her ex-husband so she can raise the kids.
60%,
so she can pay.
60% of kids under 5 have daycare. Daycare is an option now. You wanted to be men.
Do you know how much daycare costs?
You wanted to be men. Here
Do you know how much daycare costs? Do you think it's free?
Let her answer. Let her answer.
A lot of things are expensive, Anna. I mean, it's men.
That's not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye, you spend money on Botox, you spend money.
You should think about it.
Well, that got a bit personal there. Where?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, a little bit. Again, not an argument, but Anna's trying to score points. So.
Yeah, well, she doesn't even regard Pearl as probably human. Which is what's really gross about this.
No, she's been attacking Pearl's appearance since they started, actually.
Well, not a surprise because they all do.
Yeah.
The thing is that these individuals, they don't have any principles. They just have weapons and they want to restrict those weapons from anyone else using them. So they are racist, they are sexist, they are lookist, they are fat phobic, they are transphobic, they are ableist. Yeah, they're ageist. They're everything they say everybody else is. 100%. It's just that they want to keep those weapons for themselves. And the reason why I say that is if you think about like police are held to a standard, they make an oath. They're supposed to police crime. What is a policeman who just engages in crime when it's convenient for his or her power? That's not a policeman. Well, I mean, it's a corrupt cop, but it's not somebody we would consider the definition of a policeman. They aren't upholding a principle if it doesn't apply for them to themselves. And of course, yes, again, there are corrupt cops, but we see them as corrupt.
We don't see them as cops, right?
We don't, but we are at the very least, we see them as corrupt cops, right? Somebody who is not fulfilling the principles that they are held to. But when leftists, liberals, what do you want to call them? When they start attacking the very groups that they say they protect, we don't say, hey, wait a second. That means you don't actually care about your principles because you abandon them as soon as it's inconvenient or you see that applying the opposite will get you further. So these people don't even have this is what I argued a while back. These people do not have these principles. The leftists don't have any of these principles. We have those principles. And the reason why these principles work is because the rest of society holds them. The left doesn't. They're perfectly happy to use them as weapons and abandon them whenever it doesn't serve their desired power or whatever aim they have in the moment. So just like we wouldn't consider a policeman who didn't uphold the principle of law, we would at the very least consider them corrupt, if not a policeman at all. Why do we consider these people of even having these principles? Like, they use them because we have them. They're our principles, not theirs. And the principle, the essential principle of them, is that people should be judged by their actions and their decisions through a meritocracy. That's the basis of all of this. And they have adopted it and corrupted it into a weapon. And it's sort of annoying. Okay. No, it's deeper than annoying. It is vexatious. Okay.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
You spend money all of the time.
Yep.
So you wanted to be men. Here it is. You're equal. Pay for daycare.
Equality means that when you have a child or children, you're both responsible. So the idea that the woman should take 100% of the costs on herself without
She doesn't.
help from her
Wait a
husband.
second. Wait a second. If she has a husband, that's really unlikely and it's none of your business.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Are you? No, that's not. Okay. First of all, it's none of your business, Anna. But also, it's not likely. Like, if they have pooled finances, that's probably coming out of both their paychecks, if not his, right? And what you mean is that when a woman unilaterally decides to have a child without a husband, that other people should pay for her daycare.
Mhm.
Why? Why? Okay.
All right.
Or ex-husband is ridiculous. How is that fair?
Well, how is it fair that he doesn't get 50-50 custody?
Well, first of all, why are you asserting that they don't?
It's 50% his.
Because they don't, dipshit.
Yeah, so the argument is basically
Can you
about
actually do that? Like, if you're up there, like on this little stupid glass podium, and she starts being a fucking creature, can you tell her that you're being a dipshit?
I assume, I don't know.
Mm.
Probably not really, like, very, let's say, good form. But I can understand the temptation.
Well, it's not good form, but she's here throwing extremely low shots.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. But you don't have to dip to her level either. I mean, I don't know. I know.
50% custody. Where
There
has
was a
feminists
study.
done? I've been
Let
on
me answer your
20
question, even though I should be
different-
interrogating you. I'll answer your question. Massive study out of Massachusetts that looked at 24,000 divorces. In those 25 divorces, they found that in only 8% of cases did men ask for custody. 8%.
Right, because the average.
So she's trying to say that men don't want to raise these kids because only a small percentage ask for custody. And they did a study of 24,000 divorces. Okay. Now I have my theory, and I think I brought it up. I think it's because lawyers usually tell them don't bother, or they realize that fighting for custody is pointless because they're not likely to get it, and it's going to put them financially in the hole paying for lawyers and stuff. So they don't bother. But anyway.
American can't afford divorce.
Okay, okay, Anna. This is really simple. Across the United States, and that includes states that actually have shared custody for fathers, fathers get custody 35% or 35% of parenting time, which is what really matters. In states where there's 50-50 or near equal shared custody, father's share is around 50%. All right. So if fathers didn't want shared custody, it wouldn't matter if it was mandated. It would still remain at the 33% because it would be based on men's willingness, but it isn't. As soon as men are granted shared custody in law, they get half because they want half.
Yep.
End of argument. I mean, I don't know what she would come back with from that.
Well, Let's see what she says.
Women
It
can
costs
afford to raise the
$25,000 to
children
get a
by themselves
divorce.
without support from the ex-husband.
Okay, why are we now on this freaking topic? Like, again, like, this is pathological, and it's pathological because she's demonstrating that the only people that feminism cares about are women.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's going to argue that. Like, this is what frustrates me about this argument. It's like Ana Kasparian's is like, feminists only care about women. And Pearl is like, but what about these men? And Ana Kasparian's like, well, feminists only care about women. They're arguing past each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say? I didn't hear you. We were both talking.
You're complaining about the costs while simultaneously arguing that a woman should not get child support in order to raise the children that the former couple had together.
Are you guys equal or not? You want to
Yes,
be equal.
equality means
Shared
that you're
custody.
both responsible for
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to enjoy this. I think Pearl's going to get a hit. I can feel
Okay,
it
let's see.
in my bones.
raising the children, and that includes the
so
costs
you should have
of raising the
equality,
children.
but not at the expense of men. 50-50 custody, 50-50, no child support, no alimony. That's equality. You don't want
Alimony
equality.
makes sense if
You
the
want-
woman was
you
a
want-
stay-at-home mother and doesn't have a source of income. How else would she take care of the kids following a divorce?
by getting
married.
just like the men.
So you're
So you're saying equality?
So you're saying,
So you're saying equality?
I don't know. What do you think about that? Like Pearl's
I
statement?
think she's absolutely right. Like 50-50 custody. There you go. Then it ends all the child support and alimony bullshit. If a man doesn't want to take care of his kids, he can pay money. I think most men would be fine with that.
Mhm.
Honestly. All right. If he doesn't want 50-50 custody, 50-50 time, oh, he can pay for that. Or she can pay for it if she doesn't want 50-50 custody. Like I don't see the problem. The problem is that Anna can't conceive of a universe in which anything isn't measured by benefit to women, and a very small subset of women, right? Politically active women who know what women want, right?
Yeah.
Who define what women want. So that's I think it was good. I think Pearl did a good job there. So far, Ana Kasparian has only really had low ball, like hitting below the belt, and reiterating that feminism only cares about a certain subset of the human race, which nobody's going to argue. So, I mean, Pearl did good, I think, here.
Quantum Cat said there's a family court lawyer on YouTube who admitted that he'd only recommend a man go for custody if he has a chance of getting custody. So yeah, a lot of fathers don't even try. Yeah, like unless the mother is abusive to the child, that usually gives him the best chance of winning custody. But even then, he might not win, because you guys remember Jeff Younger, whose wife basically took his son and forced him to transition against his father's will, and the boy was like 1 year old or something. So we're not talking about a kid who can make that decision, and he lost the kid. And and I think that she's just transitioning his boy, this man's son. So Great Indoors gives us a $5 super chat. Thank you, Great Indoors, and says, regarding part 1 of the Anna versus Pearl debate, Anna took issue with Pearl citing the amount of false accusations in one Midwestern city, alluding that what Pearl was citing was in no way representative for the rest of the U.S. And then Anna starts yapping about the romantic basis of her marriage with a guy she is portraying as a deadbeat at the start of their relationship, a guy who in reality just had ended his professional career as a baseball player and was looking for a new career path, and her choosing a guy who was totally beneath her, according to her description, is totally representative for the way women act in the modern dating world. Yes, we did talk about that last time, but thank you for the super chat, or super chow rather, Great Indoors. So, all right. Yeah, the moderator shit in this too. I mean, he's just kind of like, I don't know, I guess he didn't want to come between a couple of women or something. So it's like, Dave Rubin, guys. But anyway, let me see. 20. Let's hear some more of this one.
Saying that a woman who doesn't have recent job history is just going to willy-nilly enter the job force or workforce, I should say, and easily get hired. Do you guys care about this, or do you care about the children or not? Because you're making this about like the
What are you, a
poor
woman? That's
husband, the
emotional.
poor
Wait,
ex-husband.
What are you? Sorry, the best option for the children is to have ample access to their fathers. Best option for everyone, actually. This is the great irony. Ana Kasparian is arguing for the worst outcome for everyone, men, women, and children, which is this adversarial system, which generally takes children away from their fathers. The shared parenting system, which a presumption of shared parenting, is actually being shown to be best for both the man, the woman, and the children. So right now she's arguing, and this is why I like hesitate when I say feminism just helps women generally. Right now she's arguing for the position. Ana Kasparian is arguing for the position that benefits feminism and divorce lawyers, not women or children or men.
And family courts, yeah.
And well, I don't know if family courts benefit. Maybe.
I mean, they get paid. It like justifies their existence.
True.
Like if we lived in a country, for example, that had like this is like pie in the sky hypothetical, but if we lived in a country where divorce just, didn't happen, there would be no family courts. It just wouldn't, unless you had, something really extreme, but even then it'd be so rare. So yeah, I mean, I think the existence of, and I was just thinking about this, and again, I don't know if this is true, just a thought I'm having, because I was looking at I think that it seems to me, and I'd like to see data on this. This is the reason why I don't trust studies, by the way, because, one of the reasons, because sometimes there are things that no one has even thought to study because it didn't serve some kind of conclusion, like a desired conclusion about like whatever the results might be. So if I said, I'd like to see if there's like a way to compare the primary reasons why women get abortions and the primary reasons why women get divorces, because it seems like they are very similar in terms of it's just like a convenience thing. Like women who get divorces, a lot of the time it's because, I feel like it's not like because it's an abusive partner. That's a very small percentage. Most of the time it's because they're like, I feel like I did it too soon. I feel like I didn't get to live my best life. I watched this Julia Roberts movie, whatever it is, right? But it's often like it comes from some kind of like emotional vacuum that they're looking to fill. And the same thing seems to be the case for abortions. The overwhelming majority of abortions for women are abortions of convenience. Like, I just didn't, I didn't want to have a kid right now for whatever reason. And it's not because of some, like a threat of life to the mother or because it was a product of rape or anything like that. It's usually just like on a whim. And in both of these cases, we actually put into place an entire legal and legislative apparatus to support that. These kinds of whims, right? And so when you even conceive of an idea that a woman would have to like seriously consider whether or not she wants to marry a man because she has to take those vows and it has to be, at least taken very seriously and not just thrown out because, I'm not feeling it anymore. And we also have an apparatus in place to give those women all the support in the world if they decide they're just going to get a divorce. And so we have alimony, we have child support, we have, all these other things that are already ready to go. And the divorce itself, where women can just take half a man's shit. And so like, it's just funny because that's like I mean, the consequences of divorce seem to be like let's say a symptom or a consequence of the root problem, which is that women are not taking marriage seriously, just like they're not taking pregnancy seriously. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it seems like to me. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but let me know in the comments or the chat if you think I'm off base there. So, all right. Anyway, let's see.
Child support, doesn't want, to take on any of the responsibilities of having children in the first place. Why is it that you seem to have a problem with men?
Because you don't have a problem with the equivalent women, Ana Kasparian. Like maybe she does have a problem with men like that, but does Anna have a problem with women who don't want to have children, don't want to be forced into having children, don't want to take responsibility for children, even walk away from their children on divorce or abandon them or, completely refuse the obligations of parenthood through all of the means available for women to do so? Like if you're going to sit there and say, hey, how can you allow that a man have such control over his life while being the very political movement that demanded women have that much control over their lives? Like, okay, fine, but you're not for equality. Like, yeah, we know. We know you only advocate for women, Anna. We know. Like, and I'm curious how Pearl responded to this. I know that's how I would have, but
responsibilities. But when it comes to
men are dying to care about their responsibilities. Men
Really?
are fighting to be a part of their kids' lives.
what's the empirical data on that?
I don't need data. How many people in here have had a family or a friend fight for their kid and not be able to get it? The reason that this happens, Anna, is because lawyers tell them not to fight because it's so expensive and they won't win.
What is that based on?
Okay, Anna, it's based on this.
Source? That's all Anna has. Where's the source? If I don't have a source, then you're lying or something. I'll say, go ahead, Allison. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the source is simple. The amount of time fathers have across the US on average, 35%. The amount of time they have in those states that enshrine shared custody in law, 50%. All right? If men didn't want it, that wouldn't happen. Okay? Yeah. It just wouldn't.
No.
Like they would just continue to walk away. If the thing that men were doing was walking away from their kids, then giving them access to the kids would change nothing. Because that's what they want to walk away from, Anna. But when they are actually allowed to be in their kids' lives, guess what? 50-50. I mean, there's nowhere to go with that. There's no, show me the source. Are men really fighting? My idea of men is that they are horrible people. That's the other thing that I'd point out. Like Anna argues from the frame that men are awful. That the average man doesn't want to have contact with his kids. Right? The average man wants to walk away from his parental responsibilities. That the average man isn't responsible and doesn't care about his children. Okay? That's the framework that she's arguing from. So not only is she basically repeatedly saying, feminism only cares about this group, and nobody's going to argue with that, Anna. Nobody's going to tell you that feminism doesn't, that feminism actually does care about any other group of people than a certain category of white, mostly white, affluent woman, right? Nobody's going to be like, oh no, that's not true. Nobody at least on our side will. But then the other thing she's doing is she's arguing from a position of contempt towards men. Like ingrained contempt towards men that she doesn't even seem to realize she has. Like her entire argument is, well, men are awful. And Pearl's like, but I see men every day fighting for their children. And she repeats, well, source? I mean, I think that because I think men are awful, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. Source? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sucking all the air out of the room here, Brian.
That's okay.
Okay.
You have to provide, look, Pearl, I am open to be convinced, but I need more than anecdotes. I need more than vibes and feelings. Because we're talking about something serious here. We're talking about raising children. We're talking about the shared responsibility of raising children. That, of course, includes the cost.
90% of disputed custody goes to women. That's not equal.
90%, that's a totally made up statistic. Where are you citing that from?
All right, let's take a break there because our time actually ran up.
So this is tough because the audience wants the source because Anna is.
No, they don't.
They do. Like, I think people that are watching this Because look, Allison, it's not most people who responded to this said Pearl got absolutely demolished. And the reason is because they were looking at this in terms of like how the frame was presented. And Anna was basically coming in and sort of like acting like the adult in the room and becoming like a teacher, like saying, I'm open to learn, like, you know, this whole kind of good cop, bad cop thing. And Pearl didn't, she like froze up a few times. And that's, I mean, it doesn't look good. I'm not saying that Pearl is wrong. I know that Pearl's right, but she's not like, you know,
She's not a good arguer.
She's not good at this, right? This is like a weak spot. And the thing is, when it comes to statistics, it's tough. So what you got to do is you if you don't have the data, especially when you have people like this, and this isn't like just an Anna thing. This is what Vosh does, Destiny does. What you do is you bring logic instead. So you either have statistics or you have logic. You say, let's make a logical case for why men might not get custody or even fight for custody, because you're making an argument that is illogical, which is that by default, the average man has no interest in, you know, being involved with his children. So if you believe that most men are just pieces of shit, then that's more that you see, that's how you counter it, right? But Anna's saying, well, the data shows X, and she's putting you in the frame of present me data that contradicts this, whereas we can do a comparative analysis, as she puts it. If Pearl doesn't have anything on hand, then she has to like fall back on using logic, which I think it makes more sense, because if you want data for something, you can find it. Like if it supports the sort of status quo, right? If you're looking for feminist arguments that are academically researched and peer reviewed, guess what? You're going to find that everywhere, because it's all part of the same incestuous, you know, Cthulhu-ish pile. But if you're looking for something that is not researched because no one thought to do it, then you have to use logic instead. And Pearl didn't really do that. That's sort of like where her weakness is at. So anyway, Allison, are you doing something? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of research while you talk.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. I'm here, and you're absolutely right. If you can't rattle off statistics off the top of your head, like for me, shared custody would probably, I'd hesitate to say that statistic, because I also wouldn't be able to source it off the top of my head. And
but if you were coming to a debate, like I think I'd have a few, if I was going to have a list of specific data points that and have everything that goes with it, and I was coming to a debate to debate men's issues and feminism,
yeah,
child custody would be right up
yeah,
there.
definitely.
I would have that one, right? If she brought up something weird, like the rate of, you know, male sodomized rape in like, you know, some weird
Uganda,
like bush country, I wouldn't have that data handy, but I doubt that would come up, you know, so.
Yeah, no, yes, definitely. If I knew that I was going into a debate like this, I would bone up on my stats, because I know that it would eventually go down to the weeds like this. But also Brian's point is really good. Logic, bring it down to logic. I mean, in this one, I'll go on the offensive, because a good offense is always a great defense. Ask Anna why she thinks that the average man doesn't want to have time with his children. Like, let's get it down to first principles. What is your attitude towards men that makes you inclined to believe that in the first place? And do you have statistics on that? Not statistics on outcomes, but statistics on what men wanted, not just what happened, but what they wanted to have happen. And I'm guessing she doesn't. So she herself is operating off of stereotype and assumptions about what men are that are actually very nasty and contemptuous. And she does that because that's how she fits them into her framework. And so go for the logical argument. Go for why wouldn't men be wanting to fight for custody? What makes you think that the average man doesn't want to have access to his children? Where is that coming from? Where is your stats on that? Like, I doubt that Ana Kasparian has any stats on men not wanting custody or men walking away from custody or men refusing custody. And that isn't captured by the outcomes. It's captured by asking them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also buttress it with the shared custody. What we found with shared custody initiatives, when shared custody is in law, 50-50 is the more likely outcome. When it isn't, it's 35%. Okay? That disparity is bias in the courts, not men's willingness. Because if it was men's willingness to take care of their kids, that wouldn't have budged. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
Those opening interrogations are over. Let's take a moment here. You guys want to grab a sip of water?
All right, I'm going to jump ahead. That was the end of the opening interrogation.
This is why they don't bring men's rights activists on here, onto these things.
Yeah.
Like genuine men's rights activists. Like, I don't think Karen would travel to that, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Karen she's even pretty agreeable, to be honest. So, all right, I think, let's see. Yeah.
Who are you comparing her to?
Well, these days she is. She's kind of chilled out.
Mm.
All right.
And see, this is the problem with feminists. You want all these freedoms, but you won't actually be equal.
I do want equality.
No, if you wanted to be equal, you would fight for 50-50 child support, no alimony.
No alimony. So
why is
again,
she choking?
if a woman decided to forego.
What?
That's really unfortunate. It's like she has a nervous issue around this debate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even Anna actually, like, I don't know if you heard, but she did say she misspoke a couple times. So even Anna's a bit nervous, but Anna's more experienced at speaking at like these big things. I don't think Pearl is as much, you know?
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Working, decided to stay home to raise the children, and the marriage doesn't work
decided
out.
that.
She's got
He
no
decided
income
that.
whatsoever. She doesn't deserve any
women aren't
alimony.
Oh, I thought that was you. It's Pearl. Hold on.
Doing that. Number one, that's not even women are not staying home with the kids. And number two, you have daycare.
A lot of women do these days.
You
actually.
have daycare.
The traditional women who want to stay home, they want to be traditional wives. And you trash them all the time, which I don't understand.
If
it seems like women can't do anything.
Okay, all right. No, they can't, Anna. They can't. Live with it.
They can't what?
Sit with it. They can't do anything right. Women can't do anything right. That is a possibility in the universe, Anna. Let's sit with it for a second. Let's not die. Let's not freaking melt like the Wicked Witch of the East in Oz, just because of the possibility that it might be true that women can't do it, can't do anything at all, nothing. That is an entire, like, it is a corporeal possibility. It is. Let's entertain it. I can entertain it for a very long period of time. But anyway, because that's what's really, now she's getting into, not only is she arguing from the position that men are contemptible and that feminists only benefit a certain group of women, which she outlined at the beginning, but she's now adding, well, this offends me emotionally, so stop it. Like this, I feel offended as a woman by your conclusion. So you should be quiet now. It's like, well, and again, Pearl's right. Shared custody solves this entire thing. The end. There's nowhere else to go with it. Equality, ironically, would solve this. But you don't want it because even though it's good for women too, it's not good for feminism. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Did you want to add?
Stay-at-home moms.
What?
No, I guess if you wanted to add, you would.
No, I would just say something.
Yeah, you would just say something. Okay.
They're traditional.
I understand that you can personally attack me. That's fine.
I'm not personally attacking you.
Okay.
These are things that you have said on the record multiple times.
So he totally has attacked Pearl like multiple times already. That's just delusional. Be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not making fun of like what you look like, your height, your build, you know, the fact that you're not using Botox and you probably should, which by the way is projection. I think that means that Anna's using Botox, but okay. All right. So.
But if you cared about equality, you would care about false accusations. I
do care about false accusations.
No, you don't.
You don't know me. What, you don't know what I care about.
Look, all right. Let's talk about rights that men do not have. Men do not have the right to be enlisted in selective service. You know, we have 125K men who were drafted and buried overseas. Think about that over a second. You talk about
So she's reading off a script, which also doesn't look good either. Just like another thing, like it would be better to have bullet points prepared and maybe some memorization of that, so you don't have to say, read it.
Not
Because I
prepared
think when
the
you're reading
groundwork
off a
for it.
script, like people kind of zone out. So like
Mhm.
people are probably not even listening now because it's like a child that's
it's
asked to
too-
read for the class. But what I
It's
would
little
say
friend.
is men don't have. She framed it weird when she talked about the draft. I don't know if you heard it, but she said it incorrectly, and I think that it's bad. But here, listen.
in selective
Yeah, no, I did hear it.
Yeah, they don't
did.
have the right to be enlisted in selective service, which is weird.
To-
See, what you should do
to
is you say
decline.
men don't actually have bodily autonomy. That's what you say. They don't have
Mhm.
bodily autonomy from birth because of circumcision, and also because they can be drafted to fight and die in wars, which is something that women can vote for, and women like actually make up the majority of voters, and they're more likely to go out and vote. So they actually have an effect on men's fate. And if you don't like the military industrial complex, well, women are voting for that. So
Mhm.
what's like this is how I would frame it, and that's using logic. You don't have to give the data, you don't need sources for that because it's observable, it's reality. It's like, yes, the draft only applies to men. And it
Mhm.
literally creates two classes of people. Women get the vote for free, men have to sign up, to
But
get
it's
the
not
vote.
literal either. Men had to serve in wartime before they were even considered for the vote. It was a precondition. And it's still a condition. It's a
Yes.
condition for men just existing in our society, honestly. They, for whatever reason, societies believe they are absolutely entitled to men's bodies and just throwing them in the face of any kind of existential threat. I find that astounding personally, but yes, it hasn't changed. And
Mhm.
the necessary groundwork for it to change hasn't happened because feminism really impedes it. We'd have
Mark
to have,
Angelucci was getting close.
well,
He
not
got
just the
yeeted.
political, but also like the social. We'd have to respect men's autonomy, bodily autonomy,
Mhm.
and them as people in order to even question the whole issue of the draft on a fundamental level. And feminism impedes that. Feminism is, in fact, the best cover for male disposability in the modern era. Okay.
All right.
You know, we have 125K men who were drafted and buried overseas. Think about that over a second. You talk about the oppressions of the past, but how many men died in World War I and World War II and had no choice? And yet Anna complains about oppression. Men do not have the right to face their accuser in court when they have a false allegation and for personal protection orders that strips constitutional rights away from the man. Women go before a judge and say they don't feel safe, and more than likely a PP order will be issued. The man was not in court, had no say, has no defense, and does not get to face his accuser. That is done en masse, and many servicemen and first responders lose their careers over this because it strips a man's Second Amendment rights away based on no evidence. Men
Where are
do
you
not
getting
have
that
the right to
information
raise
from?
their children. Divorce is no fault, but when it comes to child custody, it's always the man's fault. He loses his children to the system. 96 hours a month the father does not make. Men have longer prison sentences. Women get a third of the time for the same crime. Where are the feminists fighting for equality on that issue?
Good. Good.
There has been rampant discrimination against better qualified men in hiring across multiple industries. Men pay more child support, and child support orders are not enforced at the same rates between men and women. Women are more likely
women pay
not
child
to
support.
pay
Fascinating.
and are prosecuted for non-payment at lower rates. Men cannot opt out of parenthood. Men have very few domestic violence shelters and are not.
He's like, what are you talking about? But when men cannot opt out of parenthood means that if a woman gets pregnant, she has complete control over her fertility and over whether or not the baby lives or dies and what happens. The man gets no say. I mean, that's just obvious. Like, we know that already,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Feminists will argue, well, everything up until the point where he put his pee-pee in her was his choice, and after
Including
that,
being
then it's her
raped.
choice, right? But that's not that doesn't make sense. And also, there's sperm jacking and all this other stuff.
And rape.
So
Outright freaking
and
rape.
rape, yeah, and women rape men too. Yes, that also happens.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
Even just having the right to as a male who's been a rape victim, not have to take responsibility for the conceived rape baby would be
yes.
an advantage, like would be a improvement over the situation today. Men absolutely do not have any defense against the expectation of their responsibilities as fathers, as citizens, as what anything, as husbands. There is no evasion, not even the fact that they didn't consent to the thing, like the situation where they're protective orders and they don't even get to face their accusers. The entire body, there is an entire body of law that is specifically around treating women better than men, or giving them more legal powers than men when it comes to their relationships with men or their interactions with men. And it is crazy. But here is the really big thing about this, and I don't know if Pearl points this out.
Mm-hmm.
She's right. She's reading a list of things that affect men, and Anna is chortling to herself because it's ridiculous, right? If feminism isn't just a movement that benefits one small group of women, why are these things so absurd to her? Why is she laughing at them? Right? She's saying that she is here to say that feminism is something. I don't remember the be it resolved. I guess they didn't have one.
There wasn't a be it resolved at the beginning, but it's essentially she's defending it. So
Yeah, she's defending feminism, but what is she defending? She's saying, well, feminism benefits these people. Well, that's not the problem. The problem is that feminism doesn't benefit a whole huge group of people that are part of the society that feminism chooses or demands power over. Right? That's the problem. So the fact that she doesn't even have any awareness of these issues, she apparently has no concern for them, she's laughing at them, is all the proof you need to know that feminism is illegitimate. Because there can't be a political movement that has completely absolved all responsibility for the harms it does and the harms done to half the human race. That is an illegitimate movement. Sorry.
it's all right.
I shall meditate now and calm
All right,
myself down.
this is where it's going to get juicy here, I think.
Taken seriously when they're domestic violence victims.
I agree on that. I do
White
agree
men
on
in
that.
particular, are discriminated against when it comes to hiring and educational attainment.
True.
The Duluth model is a model that law enforcement, courts, and counselors use automatically that assumes men are the aggressor. The tender years doctrine is a guideline in divorce used to justify removing the father from the child's
She's
life.
going to say that
The only
feminism helps with all of these.
institutional sexism that exists is institutional sexism that discriminates against men in favor of women. Furthermore, U.S. courts do not require receipts to show how that money is spent by the custodial parent, unless there's overwhelming evidence of starvation, malnutrition, or severe child abuse. There are
Hold on,
numerous reports of custodial.
So she's saying that like there's no so what women get this child support money, and there's no like way of tracing if the woman who's getting child support is spending it on the child. So like a lot of times we don't know what the data is because there are no studies that are being done to figure this out, but we do know that there are instances where a mother is spending the child support money on herself, and the child is being like mistreated, it's malnutrition or whatever, because the mom just sees it as like another avenue of money, and she's just spending it on herself instead of the child. And a lot of men who give child support, they want the money they're giving for child support at least to go to the child, right? for their whatever, clothes, school supplies, doctor's visits, whatever it needs to be. So she's saying that we don't even have a mechanism to essentially figure out whether or not this is correct. And Anna's interrupting to try to make an argument. So here we go.
You want the
Parents
government
spending the
to
money
check
on
receipts and see,
Pearl, let's let her respond to some of that.
hold on, let's understand something. You want government to be so big that you literally have the government looking at receipts to see what
Ana Kasparian suddenly becomes an ANCAP. She suddenly cares about the sides of the government, guys. Out of the blue, she goes full ANCAP, black and yellow. All right. Anyway, let's keep going.
Well, it's because they're talking about men. I swear to God, there would be no liberals. There would be no leftists.
Ana
There would be no
Kasparian.
There would be no communists. There would be no socialists in society if men's issues were were as prevalent as feminism. There would be none. They would just stop existing because they as soon as you start saying, well, we better take care of men too, they're like, bootstraps.
Do you want the government to get that big?
Yeah.
Okay.
spending the money on?
I
That's
want-
insane.
I want no child support, no alimony, 50-50.
Yeah, because you're
custody.
crazy and you don't live in reality.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Anna. Kentucky is reality. And they're finding that reality is very good for children, fathers, even mothers, but not particularly good for feminists and divorce lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Than you, Anna. I say if you want to vote, be in selective service, be on the front lines just like the men are.
Who do you think gives birth to and raises those soldiers?
You're not really giving birth.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you assert that women shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're not all in mandatory military service.
I say be equal. You want to vote, do what the men do. Men are fine.
Should women be included in combat?
This is
Should women be?
I'm sorry, I want to get in on here. Also, we shouldn't leave it too long. But can we, even if we can't solve the issue of conscription of women, can we at least allow it to inform our political understanding? Like, can we allow the fact that this society had to grind up several generations of men, not just in war. War is just the extreme version of this resource acquisition. The other aspects of it are infrastructure projects which also grind up men, right? Can we just acknowledge that this is a thing and stop pretending that the past was oppressive to women? Like, even if we can't solve it, can we just allow it to inform our understanding of reality? Right? You see what I'm saying, Brian? Even if we can't conscript women, can we allow the draft and all of the other ways that society has ground up men's bodies for its projects? Can we allow that to inform our understanding of the gender's roles throughout history? Like, I am good with that as a starting point, and then we can talk about solutions. Because this is what's infuriating is people bring this up and they say, well, do you have a solution for that? That's irrelevant. Okay? We need to bring this up so it informs our understanding of history and that we stop pursuing policies or justifying policies based on a false understanding of history. Whether or not we can solve this conundrum, if we do conscription of women, we do conscription of women to healthcare or any other demanding kind of job, but we don't conscript them to the front lines, whatever we do, whatever the solution is, that's not the same argument as saying this needs to inform our attitudes about the past and ourselves in the present. Okay? A recognition of this. And what happens is people like Anna say, if you can't solve it, you can't recognize it. That's bullshit. It's a bullshit framing. I can't say the word bullshit. I couldn't say the word bullshit up there. I'd be very tempted. Okay.
All right.
Included in combat.
Yes.
Okay.
Do what the men do.
Fair.
Do what the men do.
Yeah, fair. Agreed. Next? Nothing? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Allow it to. Okay, this is
I wanna
Pearl.
know
This
what
is where
your
you
ideal
tell her.
woman is.
Okay, this is where you tell Anna. Okay, if you believe that, then make it inform your understanding of history. If you understand that this is a sacrifice that has been uniquely male, and it's not like, again, war is the extreme version of it. Infrastructure projects, stress due to overwork, industry, all of this stuff, maintaining infrastructure, okay? Creating all of this stuff is the society grinding up men's bodies to get the material it needs to run. If you understand that all of this is a sacrifice and war just exists as part of that, if you understand that, then let it inform your understanding of history and the relationship between men and women now and in the past. Okay? That's how you integrate it. That's how you truly recognize it. And I would simply say, so Anna, are you going to let that inform your understanding of history? The fact that this was a sacrifice expected of men and only men. And if you don't, then you don't have a right to say that this is resolved at all, or that you actually believe it, that you actually believe that this should be equal. Okay?
Well, she's just, yeah, I mean, I think she's just sort of like before she said that, oh yeah, women should be drafted. Now, I don't think that's the answer, but she just said that to make
To
herself
shut her
look
up.
good. To
To
shut her up. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to challenge her when it's like, no, Anna, you can't just say that. You have to recognize it was a sacrifice that men made. Okay?
Yeah.
And that has to inform your worldview. Otherwise, you really don't understand the point. Yeah, you can't just let her sit with, oh, well, I just agreed that women should be drafted and then have absolutely no political will to do anything about it at all, right? Because she knows it's not really in the cards. And
Yes, exactly.
so,
It's easy to agree to because it's like
the real test where the skin meets the rubber meets the road for women is if they let their understanding of men and history update based on recognition of this sacrifice. And that's the first step. Then we can start talking about solutions. But she can't, I wouldn't let her sit and say, oh, well, I guess that's okay. I guess you win that one or something. I'd say, no, you don't actually understand it unless you let it inform your worldview. Okay, let's keep going.
yeah.
Because if you are a traditional
So she's saying, what is your idea of an ideal woman? So that's what she's asking Pearl.
conservative woman who's married, staying at home, raising kids, you trash them.
There's no such thing as a traditional woman. They cannot be traditional in 2025 because women will always have the leverage.
What does that mean? What does it mean that women
Because
will always have the leverage?
women have child support to fall back on, women have alimony. So automatically
10% of divorces end with alimony settlements.
It doesn't matter.
See, again, if I was Pearl, I wouldn't have just leaned on those statistics. I would have just said the entire government incentivizes women to not be traditional, like in every way. They can abort their children. They can divorce the man, take half his stuff. They can ask for the state to support them. There are safety nets on top of safety nets to like help them out, and essentially incentivizing women to become single mother welfare queens. And a lot of them do it. And so like those women, they can claim that they're traditional if they want to, but the state does not incentivize that. It incentivizes like their behavior, and they eat it up. And men can't do anything about it. All they can do is suck it up and pay, because that's what they're doing, right? Taxes are redirected from men to women. Men are the majority of the people who pay into the taxes, and women are the majority benefactors, like in general, right? So anyway.
Okay, so what was the framing here was
Pearl said, Anna asked Pearl, what is the ideal woman? And then Pearl said, and then Anna goes on to expand on it, saying like, a traditional conservative woman. And then Pearl says there's no such thing as a traditional woman.
Okay, Anna, if I were asked that, what is the ideal woman? The ideal woman would be a woman who actually cares about men as fellow citizens. Then done.
Yeah, but then she'll say she loves men because she did try to make that claim.
Well, then caring about men as fellow citizens isn't caring about the men that you own. It's caring about men's rights. Citizens
Mhm.
are their issues, their concerns, their universal issues and concerns, in particular in terms of their rights. Right? That's you can't just be like, "Ah, well, you know, I don't know, my black butler is a great guy. So, you know, I appreciate black people."
Benson?
Benson.
I'm sorry, it's just a strange reference. The only black
Okay.
butler I can think of.
You
And
know,
also the guy from
I
Fresh Prince. Can't remember
like
his name.
it's not the judge for that isn't what a woman does with a man who's currently benefiting her. It's what she does for men in the abstract as her fellow citizens.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's what I would say to her. It's not just about the men who are currently benefiting you in whatever capacity or you have a personal relationship with. It's about men as your fellow citizens, which is a more abstract category, and it requires thinking systemically, which I know a lot of women struggle with. All right.
All right.
You just ignore the stats.
They
You
go
just move
from
on.
men to women. They go from men to women. Billions of dollars every year.
I thought you said earlier that
Billions
women
of
are paying
dollars of-
alimony.
Billions of dollars
What
of
the
wealth every year is transferred from men to women. Through
Based on what? Where are you
through
getting that
family
information
court.
from? You're just making it up?
Look,
It's the taxes.
Hmm?
It's taxes, you dumbass.
Yeah, it's the taxes. Come on.
At the end. You didn't want to submit. Where are your sources? You didn't want to submit them ahead of time. You did.
The Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics. I cited.
That's pretty
everything I
general.
mentioned.
No, you didn't.
Pull it up. Pearl. The
Oh,
main thing I want
God.
people to understand, okay? Pearl's gonna trash women no matter what. That's fine.
Nothing that
my
she did
biggest
trashed women. Like she
Mhm.
hasn't trashed women once up to this point. The only person up there who's trashed women or a woman is you, Anna. You trashed Pearl. This is infuriating. Now she's just doing the stupid hokum dance. I'm going to do the little dance that my debate partner is a misogynist. And hopefully nobody will notice that Pearl has not actually trashed women at all.
Yeah.
This is infuriating. Like, oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
Is you're discouraging people from entering marriages.
I don't tell men what to do. Sell me on.
You
Okay, so,
advise
Anna,
men to avoid marriage.
Sell me on marriage. What do men get out of marriage?
That's sad. It's sad that people think that. It really
Okay,
is.
well,
You
so
get a
she
partner,
oh,
you get
it's sad that people think that. It's sad that people think that. I'm not going to address why they think that or give a plausible argument why they shouldn't think that. I'm just going to say it's sad. I don't give a crap that you're sad, Anna. Nobody should care. Answer the question, does she?
Let's see.
teammate, you get to build a life together, and it's beautiful.
And that person you build a life together can tear it apart at any point.
Well, no, not she can do it to her husband, but the other way doesn't really happen.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I feel like misery loves company in this.
Okay,
situation.
okay, all right, Anna. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. What the fuck is wrong with this woman?
You know what you get out of marriage if you haven't experienced marriage in the first place. I'm not
How long
saying that
is
as a
she
personal
married?
attack.
Like-
I really hope.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
First of all, Pearl doesn't have to be married. She doesn't have to have, I don't know, she doesn't have to have her life arranged in any particular order. She could even be a single mother, and she could still advocate for men's issues, understanding them as an important part of the body politic. Okay? And that you can't have a functional society with half of the people effectively silenced. It doesn't matter her social arrangements. What matters is what she's advocating for right now. I hate that fucking argument. Oh, you don't have the right living arrangements to advocate for this position. No, It's just right. It's the right thing to do. Okay, can I say that? Like, it's just the right thing to do. And even if you're married, even if you're a traditional woman married and you've never had another partner in your life, and you don't you don't necessarily have to advocate, you might just be living your life. But if you actively harm men and their rights, then you are a bad person. Your lifestyle is irrelevant. That's just aesthetics. Okay? And that argument is annoying. But then the other argument, oh, it's sad. Like, who cares about your emotions? But there was a third argument in there. What was it? I think I missed it. It wasn't an argument. It was just female noise making.
something, we're building a life together. It was all just romantic language.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it was just romantic language.
We're building a life together. Okay. But you get
until somebody just gets bored and decides that the problem is not like the potential good that could come out of a marriage. The problem is that there are a number of obstacles, and there will be challenges, and women are not incentivized to endure. They're incentivized to leave. They're incentivized to essentially only look at their situation, and also to view this whole thing as pretty transactional. Like looking at, oh, what am I getting out of this? Is this like the same thing that I would be? That's not what love is, you know? Like love is a sacrifice. So like men recognize this, which is why like Zoomer men, what they want, like at the top of their list is like, I want children and a family and a wife and a job that I like. So all of these things that already exist to serve each other, that's my goal. And I think that those men understand that that's not just like a gift on its own. It's something that you work to maintain. You raise your children, you support your family, you buy things like a house and whatnot with your money that you get from your job. If you have to do a job, you might as well like the job. I mean, that all seems to make a lot of sense. But women, that's not their highest priority. It's like, they just want to have stuff. Like, I think it's just like stuff. And that means that they see everything in a material way, and they don't really see that what they do is something that could affect other people. It's like they're divorced from the consequences of their actions somehow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's, again, I'm saying that this is what is incentivized. I think that if it's discouraged, women won't do that. But that's not what we do. We reward them for this behavior, right? So they act like it because we allow it. Anyway.
Well, would you want to build something? Would you want to build something with a partner who could unilaterally just walk out of it, all of their commitments at the drop of a hat, and you have to continue to provide your half of the bargain? That's a terrible, like nobody would say that you should go into business on those terms. So it's not building something. It's building for something together. It's building something for her. Okay. Let's,
okay.
Sorry, continue.
It's the love of her life
Why do
and
we
gets
have-
married.
why
It's
do-
not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
Yeah, but Anna,
Why
she's
do we have
not.
phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
Okay. Like, I'm gonna deal with this. You trash it without even knowing what the benefits are. You mean the benefits to her as a woman, right? Because that's not what she's talking about. Because it's like Anna's basically ignoring the fact that the benefits for a relationship for a woman are categorically different and far more insured in law than the benefits, whatever they may be, for a man. So Pearl can't know what the benefits are for a man because she is not a man, but she can recognize the legal drawbacks and meat hook realities of men getting into relationships because presumably she has a brain and the ability to walk through consequences and empathize with her fellow male citizen. Right? And so that, like, framing it in that way, that this is just Pearl's one woman crusade against marriage, is ridiculous. You see what she's doing? Once again, she's attacking Pearl's right to say something because she can't address the thing that she's saying. This is where thought goes to die. This is where argument goes to just breathe its last and fall over. Ugh. Okay, keep going.
All right, let me see. Just checking to see if there's any more super chats. Okay.
Are we going to go through all of this?
Pearl,
What? Oh, did Pearl do something funny?
divorce is expensive. And by the way, on purpose to discourage people from getting divorced in the first place.
No, it's not
Why do you get phrases
expensive
like
on
happy wife,
purpose.
happy life?
Because it's
Divorce
true.
isn't expensive on purpose. It's expensive. It's not expensive to prevent people from getting a divorce, you weird person. It's because it's everybody's incentivized to treat it combatively and then pay a lot to their lawyers because lawyers like that. And divorce lawyers particularly like that. Like making money off of misery. All right, let's
This is the most of the meat is in this section. That's why I'm playing through this.
okay.
So she said, "What? Why do they have sayings like happy wife, happy life?" And she said, "Because it's true." This is what Anna said. So she's just like leaning all the way into this blue pill thinking. Okay.
Same with happy husband, happy life. I don't want to come.
Yeah, they don't say that.
Husband.
Yeah, but nobody says that.
But that's not a phrase.
Do you have
is
any
it?
other like catchphrase or slogan you want to throw at me?
What do men get out of marriage?
Yeah, let's go back to the
A
question.
partner.
That gains 25 pounds in the first 5 years.
Men get pretty fat too. I don't know if you've done a comparative analysis on that. They actually end up gaining more weight than their wives do. And who cares?
Oh, this is now okay. So Anna, so I'm led to believe that I'm supposed to consider you the paragon of virtue, like the paragon of policing lookism. When what was one of the first things out of your mouth in regards to Pearl, and continues to do. Like you don't respect a policeman who commits crime. Why should we respect a leftist who uses every freaking ism that they say they call out? Right? That's what she's doing. She's just being a massive hypocrite. But I'm saying what everybody else knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see.
You mean juicy as in like
a little bit more
cat fighting?
What?
You mean juicy as in like they're cat fighting?
Who said what? Did I say something?
You said that this part was juicy.
Oh yeah. Well, there was more. It was more catfighty, but like.
I guess maybe
have a
all right.
conversation
All
with your
right.
partner.
There is another mode we could analyze this on.
I think I thought there was something where Pearl said, why do we keep pivoting towards women?
Adults.
How can men and women be equal?
Especially if she's giving you
How can men
children.
and women be equal when one is expected to die for the other?
I don't expect anyone to die for anyone else. I don't know what that even comes
Yeah,
from.
but men are willing to die for you every day. The men in the police force, the men in the military.
What about the women in the police force?
They're 10% and they cause
So
many
what?
problems.
Who cares? What
Look at the
percentage
actual rate of death. Like
Yeah.
you just don't even bother with the percentage of the look at who's dying on the job. It's overwhelmingly men in police force and the military and firefighting, EMT. I think I'm not sure if they die very often on the job, but almost everything that keeps women safe, protected, and provided for requires male death. Right. And she's right. She's not acknowledging it. But this whole thing, this argument also takes place on the level of threat narrative too.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could analyze it on that level. Unfortunately, I think that Pearl might not be winning on that level. But
No.
she has such a handicap going into this space. But then again, the fact that Anna is so I don't think Anna's a very good user of threat narratives. She's so witchy.
Witchy?
Witchy, yeah. Like a witch.
Yeah.
You know, Not like
Okay.
the Glinda, the Good Witch of the South witch, or Gladriel witch.
I think this is actually Pearl's a bit stronger here because she is just showing like that, like culturally that we just look at this. That's why the happy husband thing doesn't work, because no one says that. Like, she's basically putting a laser on that. It's not a massive point, but I think the men in the audience, like, you can tell that she's getting more reactions from them. So
in makeup of the police force.
Yeah,
They're in
but
the police force.
they
My
can't-
sister-in-law's a cop, actually.
They can't do the same jobs. There's videos on the
should
internet
see my
everywhere of
sister-in-law.
women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up?
no, that's totally happening. But let me jump ahead to one more thing here, and I think we'll be done. So women frequently quit male-dominated, high-paying jobs due to workload and mental health issues. So they were talking about jobs. It's like a minute or an hour in. Let me see.
Okay. I'm looking at the chat. I'm seeing if there's anything interesting going on. They're all pretty quiet today.
What I'm curious about is whether or not the Pick Me Act ever resorted into anything positive for you.
She just calls Pearl a pick me now. So
I'm trying to figure out what this person, Clydian Chech, is, what their position is, because they said Anna debated Ben Shapiro, Pearl just wasn't ready for it. This is so weak. Yeah, she could have been better prepared, sure. This is like, again, I think this is why they don't bring men's
this
rights
person here
activists.
fighting God.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Pearl.
I can't tell their
This is a
position.
straw man argument. I don't know what you're just saying. Straw man in the chat. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know if you're arguing with someone or
You're just saying it.
you're just making noise, just having fun.
Straw man in the chat, everybody. They're apparently they're somewhere. They're around here somewhere. We're gonna find them. All right. Let's go.
Are you done?
I'm not.
All right. So I'm not either.
Okay, keep going.
Now, the other thing is, women fly planes, they crash them. Women are in CEOs.
What
they
are the
quit.
stats on
most
that?
Female,
What are the
most
stats
female
on that?
Okay, what? All right, this is not.
Feminists, they want stats that say water is wet. The
Yeah,
sky
I
is
want
blue.
empirical evidence
Right,
to
because
back up your arguments.
because
Okay.
you want to be in control of telling people what to think and how to feel.
No, I want to be in reality. I want to live in a fact-based reality that requires empirical evidence, not your assertions.
Well, but you don't. You also have not. This is really like, I don't know. Nobody's particularly good at threat narratives in this one. I hate to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I would honestly say that Pearl is doing a better job than Anna. That's really surprising. Like, is Anna just not really, doesn't have that particular female instinct?
I think Anna's trying to be a girl boss and a feminist at the same time. So trying to have her cake and eat it too. But so there was a point. I'm gonna just look for it in the transcript and try to find the exact point, because that's not really the clip I wanted. So,
All right. Do you want me to just?
No, it's fine. It's
I'll
fine.
read the,
Crash them CEOs.
I'll poke the bulls.
Yeah, go ahead. So
Siladin Chech says, I feel really bad for her. So I think that he is sympathetic to Pearl.
okay.
And yeah, no, I think most people would agree that this isn't the best effort, but then this is just spectacle, honestly. It's not getting anything done.
Well, I mean, what is a debate supposed to do?
Yeah, I guess
And
you're
I
right.
mean, like, I don't think it was meant to be like just like a MMA of words, but I think that Pearl had an opportunity here to really like change some minds, and I think she may have, but I think that it may have just done more harm overall, just because I mean, Anna handled herself pretty well. Even though I know that Anna's wrong on a lot of this, or at least she has like a massive blind spot. And that's really all Pearl had to do to like win, is just keep Anna focused on the blind spot and say, okay, you know these things, but what's the situation for men? What's the situation for men? What's the situation for men? You cannot solve an equation if you don't have all the variables. You have some of the variables, but you don't have all of the variables. So how do we solve this problem? If you're so sure everything is fine, then why are things getting worse? Why do we have a situation where our money is worth less, people are not having kids, and you could say blame it on the government, blame it on these other things, but like at the end of the day, it always boils down to two groups of people, men and women. Like nothing else matters except those. That's where everything springs from. That's why when the Garden of Eden was made, he didn't put like Tyrone and like Muhammad and these. No, it was like Adam and Eve, man and woman. It wasn't like a bunch of other shit, right? Because that's where it all. If you just look at it from a completely philosophical perspective, a creation myth, you can call it that if you want to. It is a man and a woman. Like they look like whatever you want, but they're not like, it's not like a bunch of, this guy's Egyptian, this guy's from Papua New Guinea. No, it's just a man and a woman. So anyway,
yeah. Well, I mean, because it's the basic economy. It's the basic negotiation is between men and women, and then everything else sort of falls out of that eventually. Right. Okay, yeah. Did you find your spot?
Yeah, I think I found it. 105.
They would provide for the men.
They would what for the men?
Where's
Sorry, I missed that.
Fellas?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
If feminists cared about equality, they would provide for the men. But yet, that is a small minority of women.
Okay. Wait. Provide for men? Okay, that's a personal choice. If feminism cared about equality, it would actually talk about men's issues.
Well, that's what she's kind of saying. She's saying they would do something for men. They would provide something for men.
Yeah, they would.
They would advocate for men.
Not just say that we don't have to and that men's issues are a non-starter. And honestly, academic feminism does frame anybody who brings up men's issues, particularly when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault, as being anti-feminist. So it doesn't matter what feminist, like what I call myself. I am an anti-feminist because I recognize that men are equally likely to be abused in relationships and most likely equally likely to be sexually assaulted as well, even by women. Like, because I say these things, I'm an anti-feminist by definition, according to feminists, at least feminist academia. Why is that? Like, why is feminism, like, everybody's like, oh, you're an anti-feminist, you don't. Well, feminists decided what I am even before I knew, because I was concerned about male victims, not just female victims. And they consider that to be anti-feminism. So it's like, anyway. So, but that's to Pearl's point. Why don't feminists provide for men if they're about equality? And okay, so what does Anna say to that? In her ineffable wisdom.
Her whole shtick is women should bend over backwards and do everything they can for men. My argument.
What are you?
I'm an egalitarian.
Like, wow, the men are in the audience. Woo! Sorry, go ahead, Allison.
Oh, that's so depressing. Ugh.
What?
Well, men cheering for that.
Women bending over backwards to help men?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Well, maybe they're cheering that they think that actually should happen.
Yeah, I think they're trolling by saying that it would be better if women did do that.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better. I thought they were cheering at the
no.
very suggestion, and that Anna's challenging her that, okay, so what? Like, can we live with the idea that maybe women should bend over backwards for men? Because that is, once again, another corporeal reality that could exist. Like,
love is sacrifice. So
yeah.
What are women sacrificing?
Can that be okay? Can we be okay with that outcome? If men bend over backwards for men, can we be okay with that? Can we be like that? That's something that doesn't immediately make me melt into a puddle, like the Wicked Witch of the East. All right. Yeah. Can we do that? Like, why not? Like, she's basically using the very conception of women bending over backwards as men as a rod to beat peril with. Like, it's this concept that's so horrifyingly evil that you can't possibly even entertain. Why don't we entertain it?
Why not?
I don't think my brain is leaking out my ears because I'm entertaining that. Seems like it's pretty neutral, pretty non-toxic. Yeah, women could bend over backwards for men. They could. Maybe they'd be happier. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
Hold on. My argument is that men and women are both tremendously important to a functioning society.
But you don't want to
Both be treated with
seriously.
respect.
But you
What?
don't want to seriously. Like, you want to say this. You want to perform equality, but continue to do inequality. Like, because the thing is that a person who believes this doesn't laugh as Pearl's talking about these horrible things that men face. Doesn't snigger to herself.
True.
I can't believe this. This is like, this particular debate has very little threat narrative in it. And that's really weird because there's a lot of cattiness, but that's not quite threat narrative. Right? There seems to be more with like other debates that we've seen, which included men.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
They both serve different jobs, different roles, and in order for society to work,
But women should have.
Women are
But
not.
Okay.
The women are
Wait,
not-
wait.
onus and
Men and women do different roles, different jobs, but women should have all access to men's jobs and should have control over them. That doesn't make sense. You see, like, she's saying men and women do different jobs. All right, what is the different job that men do, and why shouldn't they have preferential control over it if they're the ones responsible for that job? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the rubber hits the road at some point, Anna. You can't just
Well,
say.
she's saying something that is so, like, I don't know, like you can't. It's like a sentiment you can't possibly disagree with. So it's like, well, what do you think you just did? You're saying something obvious. But of course, like, everyone, well, not here, but like in the comments on this video are totally like, oh my God, she said that. It's so awesome. Like, they're just
Men
it's
and women should be
midwittery.
respected. Yeah, men and women should have different roles and should be respected. But women, that, like, you can actually present the idea of women bending over backwards for men as some horrible outcome that is unspeakable, that you can use, even conceiving of it as a rod to beat someone else with, rhetorically. And the other thing that she said that seemed like she was like, oh, this is so horrifying, is that women can't do anything. I think that was the idea of recognizing that women can be incompetent. So men and women have, equal roles, equal respect, but we can't recognize that women can be incompetent or that women should have responsibilities to men. She is just saying things in the moment. This makes me feel good right here. I feel like it will give me the opportunity to win, but I don't really believe it because the actual components of this belief I have undermined in previous parts of this debate. So it's like, okay, that's a lovely performance of reason there, Anna. Actually, not particularly lovely, but it was a performance.
Okay, last bit.
World population. You win. Feminists wanted to fight against rape culture. You win. If a woman is raped, assaulted, or if she revokes consent after the fact, she has the power to get a man fired from his job, kicked out of school, or thrown in jail. You won, feminists. Women want to be free of traditional gender roles? Fine. Men invented the dishwasher, the Roomba, the air fryer, fast food, and Uber Eats. There are meal prep services and cheap restaurants. You win. Women wanted to have a career first and get married later in life. Men allowed women to come into the workforce and have millions of dollars in funding, pushing women into male-dominated fields and scholarships, and invented IVF to give us another 5 years of fertility. The husbands pay for the IVF, and they are pushing to get it taxpayer funded. You win. Women wanted to be sexually liberated instead of getting married. Men invented Tinder and Hinge, so random men can literally come to your door. The men from your hometown are not good enough. Men invented social media, so you can get flown out by the highest status men in the world. Women did not want to work labor jobs, fine. Men invented social media so you can talk into a microphone and get paid. You can now work from home so you can have a family and be a mom. You can make money selling your nudes on the internet and become a billionaire. Women did not want to give birth, fine. Men invented surrogacy so another woman can do it for you. Women wanted to be thin without working out, now you have Ozempic. You want to look younger, fine. Men invented Botox, hair dye, filters on your phone, nose jobs, Anna knows, plastic surgery, lash extensions, makeup, and AI.
Whoa,
to make you
what?
look thinner. You win.
Oh, you didn't catch that?
Oh,
She
what?
said
Really?
Men invented nose jobs and then said Anna knows. Ouch.
Oh man.
You can now wait till 40 to have a baby, freeze your face, work in an air-conditioned office, earn a living sitting on your ass, getting fat, spending money you don't have, marry someone to pay it off, divorce him, put him on alimony and child support, get a Roomba, abort your kid, have unprotected sex on camera, get paid for it, order any cooked food to your door, get a self-driving car.
Okay.
and complain
We
to
might get
men
hit by
that they
copyright.
caused you to be lazy and
This is a
fat.
big channel.
No, this person, this upload is by someone else,
Oh, okay.
not the
Well,
original debate. So
okay.
like this isn't even their content either. So
Okay, continue
You are
then.
now empowered to have 10 abortions, bang 300 men, take a DEI position that pays $300K a year, Uber Eats a Plan B, study underwater basket weaving, and get sympathy when your degree pays no money. Feminists are spoiled, liberal, progressive women that have no idea how good they have it. You guys will never be happy until men are nothing but empty shells who are slaves to the system, fueled by feminists' selfishness, spending habits, and poor choices. Feminists don't care about equality because if they did, there would be equal rights for men. There would be equal men's shelters. There would be equal funding for men's cancer. There would be real equality. I checked 20 different feminist websites and have not found one that mentioned a single issue that asked for men to be equal. It only asked for special treatment. Feminism has empowered women to destroy this country through the death of 1,000 cuts. Feminism is not about equality, it's about insidious domination. It has been a slow creep to where women are complaining about their non-existent oppression. Men have figured this out because they're highly adaptive and the math is not mathing. I am curious to know feminists' plan when men refuse to stop providing, protecting, and maintaining the civilization you enjoy corrupting. Feminists are about to fuck around and find out. Feminists have won. You destroyed every single male group that used to be strictly for men, like Boy Scouts. You can falsely accuse men of rape, harassment, and endless lawsuits. Feminists have more political power, voting power, and spending power than any other group. Everybody caters to you. Corporations cater to you because women are the primary purchasers. Politicians because they need the vote. Men have to pay child support to a rapist. Men are not believed when they're abused. Men have to die at work and at war. Men have to pay child support for 18 to 21 years. Men have to register in selective service. Men are not given additional consideration for college admissions, jobs, opportunities, and scholarships. Children are not DNA tested at birth, leading to paternity fraud, which is not prosecuted at all. And men will more than likely deal with this in their lifetime. Men are the majority of the homeless. Men are the majority of the suicides. Women can hit men, and men can't hit back. Feminism has empowered women to destroy men, and congratulations, 1.6 million men have committed suicide. What more do you want, Anna?
All right. That is.
oh, that's
Okay, whoa. Well, that was actually pretty devastating. Maybe she should have started with that.
could have.
Yeah, she could have. Like, there's nowhere to go from that. It is 100% true.
Well,
got
yeah, I
everything
mean,
you
like,
want. Well, not 100%.
I think feminists do have they do have a counter argument to most of those, if not all of those. But the counter argument is patriarchy did that. So so like
patriarchy somehow did all of that, and every bit of it benefits women. Like women
Yeah.
are not liberated by feminism. They're liberated by men creating the means, the technology to liberate them, which they never forgave men for. Right? This is true. And
It is.
and at this point, the majority of women still refuse to turn around and say, well, what do men need? Well, what could men use at this point? Like what things do men need to have addressed? And it's I have two possibilities. One, maybe they're worried that everything will implode if they do it. Or two, women's brains are incapable of it. And I resist the second possibility because that means that women aren't really human. Like that they're incapable of stepping out of how much they rely on men and realizing that men actually sometimes need things too. Right? I mean, what is the point of men dragging an existential weight into the future like that? Like somebody who absolutely categorically can't be a partner, not just refuses to be a partner, but can't be a partner. Can't. I don't know. I have no answer for that. It really disturbs me. I'm glad that Pearl said all that because it's true. And it's something that
Well, she probably didn't
contended with.
expect. Yeah, what I suspect is that Pearl probably didn't expect that she was going to be able to like really get these points out, and so she saw it as an opportunity, this debate rather, to just say all of those things at the end. It's like Warren Farrell when we talked about that last week, where he basically was like, "Okay, I'm not going to get a to like make a really clear point, so I'm just going to use this opportunity to drive people towards this thing." So she just said, here's a bunch of issues, and the men were listening were like, yeah, that's true, that's true, that's true. So and she's got the last word, so I think that's going to be what people take away, So
well, they still have to contend with it, so that's a win, I would say. Yeah, it was really rough. That was a rough ride, rough road there to get to this point. I don't know why she didn't start with this. Maybe she was keeping it for a closing statement. The other thing is that I wanted to address something that was said. Shaman King said, how in the world is anyone supposed to respond to that? That's the sort of thing you should lead with and then unpack if you're going to do it at all. Yeah, I 100% she should lead with it. And also it's going to be very difficult to respond to. But that's
because it's a gish gallop. It's just like a whole bunch of talking points. So
but they are actually, they're real.
I mean, they're not untrue. But
and the other thing is that Anna keeps demanding some kind of evidence for stuff. So it's almost like you need a gish gallop to get to the point of making the overall point, which is men have done so much for women. So much for women. Like I can't think of one thing that hasn't been requested by women that men haven't done if it was conceivable for them to do it. Like they can't get rid of male rapists until they get rid of single mothers. Like, so if you want to be single mothers, you're going to have to live with that. So the only thing that men can do is manage the consequences of single motherhood.
Yep.
Right. Stuff like that. Like so men are bending over backwards to create a world for women to exist in. I can't think of one thing that women haven't asked for that men haven't attempted to give them. Right. And the complaints are never ending. The complaints are never ending. And I think it might be because women only feel real, I guess, in this world when they're demanding stuff from men, which is sad. It's sad for men and it's sad for women. And it would be great to move past that. All right. Okay. So that's my final word. I'll hand it over to Brian.
No, I mean, like I already said what I wanted to say about this. I think that the tough thing is that this isn't really Pearl's strength, and it is an area where Anna's stronger. Pearl could have won, but it would have required a little bit more prep. I think that she needed to do more prep time. I think she should have opened with that as her opening statement and been very specific, like because you when you're dealing with these people, you have to like be, have all of be on your
Ducks
P's
in
and
a row.
Q's, cross your T's, dot your lowercase J's, and have all of your ducks in a row, all of the idioms that have to do with being well prepared. And you basically go through them one by one. And whenever they try to make it about women, you remind them that they're pivoting towards women and we're trying to look at men. And because like the data on women is everywhere, and there's probably a lot of data that it would become called into question if it also accounted for men. So when they try to pivot to women, you say, okay, so what's the situation for men here? Do you know? And it's probably a good idea to be like, well, they'll be like, well, there's nothing about it in the study. And it's like, oh, well, why hasn't anyone done a study on men in this particular area? Why do you think that no one cares to look into that? As an example, academia is run by women. Why aren't the women in academia saying, why don't we look at this data and see how men are affected? And then like basically like let the audience come to that conclusion, if anything. So, and if you don't have the data, then fall back on logic. That's what I would say, So I got a super chow from Great Indoors. Thank you, Great Indoors. Gives us $10 and says, I think an argument can be made that says that political debates like these are relics of the past. I do believe more people are convinced by what they see happening in Minneapolis and by the subsequent self-reports by mostly women on social media because they cannot help themselves spouting radicalized calls for domestic terrorism. Anyone who doesn't get that the left has no moral ground will become one of their radicals in future time. Well, yeah, go ahead, Allison.
No, I think that is it is radicalizing, and I've been sort of getting into arguments with commentators. I stepped away from that a bit because I had some work to do, but honestly, what I hold to is the fact that all of this shouldn't have happened in the first place. This is a direct result of a bunch of thieving bureaucrats stirring up a conflict, an ideological conflict. And yes, there's the preconditions of the ideological conflict, but it's it is not. It's people getting away with theft, is what it is, right? And the fact that there is a group of people who think that a country can exist without policing its borders, and we can have a discussion on what's appropriate policing, but I get the feeling that I'm discussing it with people who think that policing itself is something that shouldn't happen at all.
Yes.
And while I can understand that among ANCAPs, because they think that nothing government should happen at all, what I'm seeing is such, you can't have a discussion if you cannot allow that the way that, and policing is something that I think is part of masculinity and the way that men sort of experience the world and have expectations of the world. Because it's men who are who are universally drawn to policing, or not universally, but almost universally male. And it's men who created the concept throughout and maintained it and perpetuated it into its modern forms. So it's like policing, boundary setting, denying magical thinking. All of these things appear to be the way that men have a kind of moral frame that they apply to the greater world. Consequences, real world consequences, productivity, that kind of thing. And what is bugging me about all of this is the same people who are like, oh, ICE is terrible. I'm like, yeah, but they are also the same people who hate every aspect of masculinity and men, right? So this is just happens. Are they just right just because it's on ICE? I mean, and again, I'm perfectly fine with the discussion of, oh, is this an oversight, or is this ICE taking their power too far? I mean, that's kind of discussions that we should have. There should be somebody watching the watchers. That's fine. But I feel like it's a delegitimation. Like it's saying that it's illegitimate to have policing functions at all. And I do notice that for whatever reason, these individuals who seem to have a hatred of masculine boundary setting, they really dropped the issue about actual police. Did you notice this, Brian, after the body cams came out?
Yeah.
Like all the body cam footage, suddenly all of the all cops are bad. people shut up a bit? I don't know if you noticed that. I wonder if there's some timing there.
I stopped paying attention. So I knew
Oh,
that it
okay.
was like, nah.
Yeah, all right. But anyway, so it's like this condemnation of masculinity. And so you have these people anyway, it's a complicated thing. I probably shouldn't get into it any further. I have to admit I recently was called a leftist though.
Okay.
So it was interesting. It was because if you guys are interested, it was because I talked about how the silver commodities market is screwed up because it's pursuing financialization rather than the financial structures necessary to support the men who are making actual metal. And somebody came on and said, well, Trump, the lefts are going to blame Trump. And I'm like, I don't think Trump is to blame, but I also don't think raising the floor, what that administration's intervention is going to do anything. Is going to solve the problem. And then I got called a leftist because I don't know, because I didn't say that the left was to blame. And I don't think it is, not in that circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
It is not specifically the left. It is this particular cancerous set of ideas around finance and productivity. And it is adjacent, I think, adjacent to communism. It's not quite communism, but anyway, this is another complicated. I'm sorry, I'm squirreling, guys. I should stop.
All right. I got a super chat from John Francois, and he says he gives us $2.49 in euros. Thank you, John. And he says Pearl on HBR. We've tried. I don't know. Maybe we can try again. I know that we were close to it at one point, but I mean, like some of our people have been on Pearl's thing. So we've been Karen and Allison and Paul and
I'm not sure Pearl does a lot of appearances. Maybe.
well, I mean, it depends. Like maybe now she could. It depends. Like she goes through periods where she's really busy and then where she's not. So I don't know. But I haven't tried in a while. I have like a fireside chat coming up on Wednesday, and then I got one with Effective Purpose next Monday. So I got some fireside chats coming.
No, you have one this Wednesday.
Yeah, with one of the
Okay.
people that you sent my way.
All right. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll just say if you're interested in anything that we talked about, please send us a message at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. It'll stay in our Discord, which you can access at badgernation.online, and we'll talk about it at the next available show. And once again, I will have our monthly fundraiser up at feedthebadger.com/support. So look for that to make sure we can keep doing this work. Because I think, again, we have a very unique perspective. And I will explain exactly how men's rights relates to the price of silver. But that's going to be on the main channel, Honey Badger Radio. All right. So I'll hand that back to you, Brian.
All right. I did get one more super chat last minute, apparently came in from AJN93. And he says, Nick Fuentes 2028. Thank you for that, AJN 93. All right.
Okay.
So with that said, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed in the show today, and please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame, and we will talk to you guys in the next one.
Men's right activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.
Hey, I'm hungry. Will you feed me? Please, I'm starving. Please give this video a like and subscribe!